Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I've just been reading in the Mirror newspaper how households are all rushing to the banks and seem to be drawing physical cash out and keeping cash at their house or wherever they keep it, rather than keeping it in the bank. And it's made me think. I'd done a video a few weeks ago saying to people, if you've got all your cash in the bank and stuff, sometimes if something went wrong or there was a catastrophe or something, unforeseen happened, like it did in Spain a few weeks ago, you've got no way of actually getting hold of any cash or if you can't use your card payments. And it made me think, I'm going to do another little follow-up video to it. If we allow banks to just use cards, so that it makes everyone use a card rather than cash, we're going to have a situation where they're going to control everything. Okay. Now, if you go into a lot of restaurants now, these bigger chains, they sit there and say card only, no cash. Now, the way to combat that is obviously to go to a restaurant that will accept cash. Listen, there's nothing wrong with paying by card. It's not a problem. But what I'm trying to say is these restaurants that just say card only are part of the problem that's forcing us to go into a cashless society. The banks will end up deciding what you buy because you're using your card, and they can decline that card payment. How much you spend of your own money this is. So you've gone to work, you've paid your taxes, the money's been paid into your account by your employer, or if you're self-employed, it goes into your account. Then they decide how much you can spend on what you can spend it on. So if, for argument's sake, there was a lot of banks that recently stopped anyone buying cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and stuff like that. Now, I saw a post on my Facebook the other day, literally within the last 2 or 3 days, where it said, Bitcoin's just doing it, it's going to bypass $10,000. Now, that was only 6 years ago. That's $100,000 plus now. So what I'm saying is, had the banks allowed people to have bought Bitcoin, they would have made a huge investment, wouldn't they? And it's digital currency. Now, the banks don't like digital currency. They like you to use your card because they're earning sort of a couple of % out of each time you use your card. Now, they'll decide what you spend your money on, how much you can spend. And sometimes it can take, if you do a bank transfer, for argument's sake, it can take 24 hours to reach the other person's account if they flag it for some reason. Say it's more than 3,000 quid or whatever, and they flag it as a little bit suspicious. They might want to look into it, which is fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with security and being cautious, but they end up... I had a situation, and I have covered this in the other video, but I'll just quickly go on about it. I won't mention the bank and everything because it's not fair to single out one particular bank, because I think it's more than one bank that's doing this. But I bought a watch, this was a few years back now, and I drew the cash out to pay the guy in cash. Now, the reason I'd done that is because sometimes, say I see the watch and I go, yeah, I'll have that off of you, and I buy it off of you. Regardless of the money, I'll buy the watch off of you. I'll do a bank transfer. Now, you've got to either put the money, you put all your details in your phone and do the bank transfer online, or if that won't allow you to do it because of money, etc., the amount of money it is, you then have to phone the bank, which means the person sitting next to you has to listen to you going through all your security details, which isn't particularly secure for yourself. I mean, you could walk away, I guess, but that seems a bit rude as well. Once they've asked you the 4,000 questions, you could be on the phone. Sometimes you don't even get through on the phone to the bank for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour sometimes. When you eventually get through, they go through all your security details. If you've forgotten them, you're absolutely buggered, because what can you do? You can't even get into your banking. Let's say you get through all your security and everything else. They then start questioning why you want it, why this, why that. And then if it gets flagged the other end as, a cautious thing, it can take up to 24 hours to hit the other person's bank account. Now, if I'm buying a watch off of someone and we're sitting in Costa Cafe, Costa Coffee, to wait for the, for the transaction. I want to buy the watch, he wants to sell the watch, but he can't give me the watch until he's had his money, and the bank ain't going to send him the money for 24 hours. What do? We walk away? No, because I've now sent the money to him. In my eyes, I've sent the money to him. So now I need to walk away with a watch. But he won't let me have the watch until he's received the money. So we're in a bit of a vicious circle. So it's just one of the reasons, why sometimes it's easier to pay by cash, because you just go, there's the watch, really like that. There's the money, check the money, count the money. Thanks very much for doing business. That's just one of the little things. I've got a little list here so I don't forget anything. How do you also survive if they freeze or close your account? I've had a recent bank thing. Again, I won't mention the bank. It's in some, a few videos ago. I actually named the bank. They froze my account because they wanted offered me various things. In the end, it got so ridiculous what they were requesting that I said, I'm not doing it. So they froze my account. Now, when they froze the account with some money in there. The money's now frozen. I couldn't access it. I couldn't pay anything in or out of that account. So I then had to set up a new account, change all my direct debits over manually because they didn't do it for me. And then eventually they have now closed the account and they've sent me a check. Now the problem is now I've asked them to do a bank transfer. They've said to me they can't do a bank transfer. How a bank can't do a bank transfer, I'll never know. But anyway, let's go along with that. They've now sent me a check. And some of the banks, you can photograph the check and it gets banked into your account and it clears. The actual bank account that I've got doesn't support that. So I cannot clear a check through my account. So now Santander, I've said it now, never mind. Santander have got money that they owe me because it's my money and I can't access it. So I've got a check sitting at home for, you know, it's not fortunes, but it's a lot of money. Well, it's a lot of money to me. I mean, it's about 600 quid. You know, I can't access my own money because they've decided to send me a check and won't do a bank transfer. Now, I can't bank that check now. So what do I do? My only choice now, and I'm going to look to see if I've got any other bank accounts I haven't used for God knows how long. You know, when you're a kid and you open a bank account when you're 14 or something. I might even have one of them still. But what do I do if I can't find a bank account, a high street bank that I can pay that check into? What do I do? I've now got to take them to court. That's the only choice I've got to get my money. Now, why should I have to go through all that aggravation, all that expense, all that trouble just to access my own money? So what I'm saying is, how would you survive if they just freeze your accounts or close your accounts and it's cash only, card only? Imagine cash is gone. They've frozen your bank account and you need to go and buy your shopping today because you've got nothing in the house to eat. What do you do? What do you do? So again, it's giving control over to the banks. They will also charge, eventually, retail customers. So if you're the shop taking the card, you'll get charged whatever they want because there's no other option, is there? And also to spend your money on the card, they'll charge you as well. So if you want to, if you want to go and buy, I don't know, a pizza, it doesn't matter, whatever, it doesn't matter what it is. You want to go and buy your pizza for 15 quid. They'll charge you another £2.50 to use your card. What are you going to say? Now, if you make 3 card transactions a day and it's £2.50 a day, and let's say it's 90 transactions a month, you work the money out. It's over 200 quid. And what can you say? There's no other alternative. This is why it's very important to keep cash. It really is. I've noticed personally in my restaurant a huge increase in card payments when it comes to the holiday season. So people coming over from the UK to Spain, they come into the restaurant and they don't pay in cash, they pay by card. Now, yes, I go along with it, it's safer for them, but they probably get transaction fees on each one as well. But it doesn't matter, does it? If it's only 2 quids on your holiday and 2 quid here, 2 quid there on your holiday, there's another 50 quid. You know, it's better to have the 50 quid in your pocket though, so that you can spend it. But I've noticed a big increase. Sometimes now my card transactions exceed the cash transactions in my business. Some ways it's good for me because the money's immediately banked. With the cash transactions, I have to physically go to the bank and pay it in. But then what I end up doing, I pay my wholesalers when they deliver food to the restaurant or deliver drinks or do this, do that. I pay them in cash. So basically, it doesn't really stay in the restaurant. It gets spent and the card money gets banked, which can be an advantage. But I'm now charged €12 for every 2,000 euros that someone spends on a card. Now, for me, it's not huge amounts, but if it was a massive company, I suppose they could negotiate a better price. But for me, it can be, sometimes somebody will come in and pay €1 for a drink. Sometimes they'll come in and pay for a meal for 4 people, €30. Sometimes it'll be a big table and they'll pay €100 all on the card. But every time I have 2,000 euros put on a card, go through my card machine, I get charged €12. So it's just the bank again making money out of it. And I am noticing a big increase in card payments because obviously people in the UK now and probably other countries as well. I don't really monitor it elsewhere, but people in the UK now are used to paying by card. It's tap and go, isn't it? That's what it is. Go into, you know, a restaurant in the UK, or go and buy some clothes, or go and get your petrol. It's tap and go, and it becomes a habit. So now they're spending the money on their cards, which is starting to, you know, I'm noticing a big tip, and that's in my little restaurant. Don't, you know, I'm not got a big restaurant or a big chain of restaurants or anything. I also want to remind people that recently we had 12 hours in Spain, and I think it was in France and some of Portugal as well, where our power went off. We had nothing. We didn't have internet. We didn't have radio stations because all the power for the radio stations went off. We didn't have fridges on. You couldn't go and buy petrol. You couldn't do this. You couldn't do that. You couldn't buy food. A lot of the stores that had the automatic doors, sometimes they were struggling to open the automatic doors. It went really silent. We didn't know what it was. We had no television, no radio, no mobile phones, no internet, no nothing. We had nothing. I could have, I guess, got internet if I tried, because I've got Starlink, which I could have plugged directly into a little battery pack and probably got some, you know, some electric. I didn't actually do it, but we was hearing through the grapevine and through other people that we were sort of seeing that there was a massive power outage in Europe, but we didn't know at the time. Now, if that went on for 3 or 4 days and you haven't got any food in the house, or your food in your house was going off, if you cook by electric, you can't even cook the food. You know, if you've got gas, you're okay. But if a lot of people have just got electric ovens, electric hobs, they can't cook their food. You know, after 24 hours, you've got a serious problem. All the food in your fridge and freezer has got to be binned because it's gone off. So again, some cash. There was a couple of little shops that were open, and they were just taking cash and writing down the transaction because obviously their tills weren't working. But they could still trade and we could still buy stuff. I mean, unfortunately, I didn't have any cash because the restaurant closed the till, we can't open the till, and the cash was all in the till. So I had to unplug the till and take that home because obviously I can't leave it in the restaurant. Luckily we had an alarm system with a backup battery and stuff, but I didn't want to leave cash in the restaurant. So I took the till home, but I couldn't access the cash unless I broke the till. And I thought, you know, I'm not breaking the drawer of a till and having to buy and get it all repaired and stuff. So I didn't actually have any cash at all. And because of that now, just after that all happened, I went to the cash point and drew out 200 euros just to leave, keep at home, just so that I can make sure that if something happens again, I could get a little bit of fuel. You know, if the fuel pumps were working, I can go and buy some bread, some water, some cheese, some milk, you know, whatever. It's a little bit of food, some pasta, whatever. You can spend a little bit. It just gets you by for a few days. So I've got a 200 euro emergency fund now if I need it. We didn't know it was only going to be 12 hours. There were people saying it was going to be 3 days, which was quite concerning. But again, it's the importance of having a little bit of cash around you, because the shops that did open that could take cash and were just writing it down, I guess they rung it in their till afterwards. I mean, the restaurant shut because we cook on electric. We had to have ventilation going. We couldn't trade, so we had to shut. There's some people that will say that getting rid of cash will reduce crime. Maybe it will help to reduce crime, but there was a case recently, what I heard about, where in a nightclub somewhere, there was a guy in the toilets, obviously selling things he shouldn't be selling, and he was taking card payments. Now, where does that money go? I mean, he could have set that up to an account in the Cayman Islands or in Monaco or whatever, where it's sort of tax-free, the income's tax-free. So he could be in Spain, in the UK, in wherever he was, trading whatever he's doing, and that money could be going anywhere in the world because the card payments are sent elsewhere, aren't they? So it's just little things to think about. I mean, if we don't fight for cash, we're going to get rid of it. I mean, it is a use it or lose it scenario. And I have covered this before, and I really don't want to, you know, go over old ground. But I do think it's so important, especially with the world being a little bit unstable at the moment. I mean, you know, in the last couple of days, America has started flexing its muscles, you know. And I'm not going to go into that because I'm not going to get into the political side of things. But just to say, we're living in fairly uncertain times. It's always worth keeping a little bit, not all of your money, because it's not safe to keep your money at home either. If there's a burglary or if there was a fire or something, it's not safe. But just a little bit of money, not even if you're carrying it around with you all the time, just put it somewhere safe in your house. couple of £100, couple of €100, up to €300-400, 500 quid, whatever. Not too much money, but have enough for a little emergency fund if it all goes wrong and you lose power for 3 or 4 days. Those people that have the cash will be very, very set and able to deal with that type of power outage like we had recently. Guys, I won't bleat on too much. Thank you very much for watching again. I probably repeated a little bit of the stuff that I repeated recently in the other video, but I just wanted to highlight it because I've just read this article in the Mirror newspaper. I'm off to Malaga in the next couple of days. I've got a friend arriving, actually today. He was supposed to come over the weekend, but he got delayed. So he's arriving today. He's going to be staying at my house, looking after it, keeping on top of the garden, the pool and all that sort of stuff. And we're off to Malaga for a couple of days. So we'll be taking you with us and we'll be showing you what we get up to. Thanks very much for joining me, guys. Have a safe week and I'll speak to you all soon.